Hi, my name's Rex Harris. Now you're probably wondering why there's a dead fish on my wall right now with the lure still in its mouth. All of this in how you can lure your perfect audience on Instagram using rockin' images next on Marketing Mojo TV.
Oh yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for another taste of that mojo, baby.
Well, hey there. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Mojo TV. Now, the reason that there's a dead fish on my wall is very simple. My dad caught that when I was a kid, and he had it mounted. And why it still has a lure in his mouth, we'll have to ask him sometime. Perhaps it's still hungry. Probably just like you, who's hungry to start getting greater response from your target audience using Instagram. Now, part of people liking you is liking what you post and learning how to create fantastic, vibrant, eye-capturing images is vital to conversion on a myriad of resources, including Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and more. So with that, let's go ahead and go to the computer and get this party started.
All right, so if you haven't already signed up with Canva, you can go to www.canva.com and create a free account there. And if you're not sure how to use this, we went over a basic tutorial in the last video that I added to the card, that if you click the link above, you can go back and watch right now and then come back and watch this later. But if you already do have an account, first thing we're going to do today is we're going to sign into our account, and you can do that using a username and password or Facebook or Google+. Now, before we get into the actual creation of the image, let's talk about which size these images should be. Now, this has changed over the last few years. It started out at 612 by 612 pixels, moved to 640 by 640, and now in 2016 is at 1080 by 1080 pixels. And the reason that they do that is because the larger the image, the better it looks on Instagram, which, on your mobile device isn't a really big deal. But when you start looking at images on a large screen on a computer, as we're doing here right now, it's important that you have a quality image that actually looks good, because your images do create a big part of the impression that you make on people. So step number one is to create a design, which we're going to do by clicking the green button here in the upper left-hand corner. Step number two is to use the custom dimensions button up here in the upper right-hand corner. So go ahead and click on that. And then we're going to choose our width at 1080 by 1080 and then click design. So here's where you're going to begin the creative process, and you'll see here I have the search option. So let's say I wanted to create an image with a beach background. I just click beach, and here I have the option to choose what Canva provides for free, or I can pay $1 and get something that's even more cool. So if I decide that there's an image here that I want to use, I just click on it and it shows up here, and then I can left click and hold to move it around and stretch it to fit. And then if I want it to fit the whole space, well, then I would just basically stretch it out to where it overexpands, and then I could just adjust it by left clicking and hold, moving right, left, up and down to center it where I would like it to be. The next selection here is layout. I don't use this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but I will walk you through the mechanics. If I do choose to use one of these layouts, I just select which one I want and left click. And if I decide I don't want to use that, I come over here, left click again. This menu opens up and I just click the trash can over here. The elements menu is where I can find free photos to use with my images, different grid lines and structures, frames, which you can see are very much like the layouts, shapes, lines, which I use quite often, illustrations, which there's a ton of them to choose from, icons, charts, and the ever famous I Love Canva stuff that you can use for those of you that want to include a little bit of Canva promo in the images that you're creating. The next section is your text section, and the majority of these layouts are point and click. Left click what you want, and you can see it shows up here, and then all I have to do is change this to whatever it is that I want to change it to. Are you aware? Let's say if I was going to do a tip about something, or did you know? The sky is virtually the limit with what you do with any of these text boxes, which we're going to get into in more detail here in just a couple of minutes. The next section is backgrounds, which I can do by simply choosing a color or coming down and choosing from one of the backgrounds that's available here. You'll see there's a good selection of them for free, and then your dollar selection below. To use one, I just choose what I want, left click, and there it is. Left click, there it is. And then last but not least is my favorite selection, which is the upload selection, where I can actually create and upload my own background images, which I've already done here in a program called RealDraw Pro. So if I wanted to do that, like in this case here with RealDraw Pro, I would just simply export this background and save it to a file on my computer. And this one here I call Instagram content. And you can already see here where I have an instance of this image saved there. So then I simply go back to Canva, click Upload Your Own Images, go to the folder where I have that saved, select it, and click Open. Once I've done that, I just come over here and left click this image, and there it is. And then all I have to usually do is stretch it just a little bit to reach the corners. And again, left click and hold to move it around if I need to. And just like that, I have my own custom image. Now, if you're watching this right now as a pro member of the Mobile Marketing Mastermind, to find your images to do this with, you just come over here and click this to download your image background archive and follow the instructions in the training videos, and you'll be able to do this exact same thing. And if you're not already a member of the Mobile Marketing Mastermind and you're watching this video on YouTube, just go down to the description of the video and you'll find the links and the information and how you can get access to this stuff too. So let's go through the top menu here real quick before we get into creating our image here for this video. From the left up here, if I left click File, I'll see the dimensions of the image I'm creating. Now, once I've selected this, I can't resize it unless I'm a pro upgraded member or I start over from the beginning, so remember that. I also here have the option to save the image as well as make a copy. If I mess up, I can click undo, or if I did something that I want to bring back that I already got rid of, I can click a redo, and if I need help with anything, I can click help. I can share my image directly from here. I can download it here, and I can also make it public for other people on Canva to use as well. Now, getting into the design, first thing that I'm going to do is upload my background if I'm going to choose an uploaded background, or I'm going to create my background if I'm going to use the tools here in Canva. And then the next thing is to select the text that I want to use, and I have the option of adding a heading from here and a subheading if I want to add that. And if I decide I don't want to use those, again, I just select whatever it is that I don't want to use and click trash. And I can come down and select from pre-created text groups. You can see there's a wide variety of these things here. The San Marino Yacht Club, for example. So I actually like the way that looks. That's kind of a good fit for this image, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. The other thing that I also like that draws attention to certain text on the image are adding lines. So if I go over here to Elements and go up here and select Lines, you'll see there's a variety of lines to choose from, and this here is one of my favorites. Let me go ahead and make that a little bit brighter so you can see which color that is. Now, if I want to change the color of that line, I go up here to this little color box, left click it, and choose a brighter color and there it is. Now, whichever text group you choose, if you want to change the text, you just put your left cursor with one left click next to the last letter in the word, hit your back button, and change the word or the phrase to whatever it is that you would like. Now, in this case, I'm going to be creating a quote with this image. So I'm going to choose from a variety of quotes that we have in our archive to use. And if you're a member of Mobile Marketing Mastermind Pro, you also have access to this quotes archive in your back office. So I've chosen a quote by Frank Sinatra that says, "The best revenge is massive success." So I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do to make changes to the text. Anything that you want to move, you just left click and hold. Just move your cursor until you see the 4-arrow cross member, and then drag, and you can move that wherever you want. Same applies for your line. Now, if I want to duplicate that line, I simply select it, and you'll see here that I have the option to copy it. I just click copy, it makes me another line, and then I left click and hold and move that into place where I want it. So now that I have this formatted the way that I want it, let me show you how I did that. The first thing that I did is I went up here to best, and I created a space between the word best and revenge, and I added my line right above the word revenge, and then I highlighted the words the best, selected bold to make them pop more, and then moved my copied line down below the word revenge. I did the same thing for the line is massive success by bolding it, and then over here to add Frank Sinatra's name to give credit for the quote, I used the third subheading option here by just simply left clicking and adding it to the image. Another important feature that'll save you time is if you just click on the center portion of the text that you chose, you can actually, using your diagonal arrow here, resize that text to fit bigger or smaller in the image, depending on how large or small you want it to be. Now, to add our branding to this image, I'm going to do two things. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to Uploads. I'm going to click Upload Your Own Images, and I'm going to go into our logos, and I'm going to choose our globe logo, click Open, and select it. Then I'm going to shrink it down and place it right here in the center. And then once again, I'm going to go to Text. This time I'm going to click Add Subheading. I'm going to drag it down to the bottom here. Get rid of what's there. And then I can put a hashtag here, which is what I'm going to do this time for JR's Marketing Mojo. I'm then going to select it by left clicking and holding. I'm going to highlight. Then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change the font to something that's better suited toward our brand. Now, they don't have the exact font of our brand in here, but here's one that's awfully close. It's got kind of a Mojo feel to it. And then I would just use, if I wanted it a little bit bigger, let's say I wanted to bump it up to like 32, and I wanted it to pop a little bit more color-wise, I could, yellow doesn't really pop there, so I will try white and see if that shows up a little bit better. That's not too bad. Black's the best. So either or, the white kind of works with the beach. I've got a lot of black text there, so I think I'll just leave it like that. Now, once it's done, I have the option to share this on Twitter, so I can tweet it out there. I could share it on Facebook. I'm actually not going to do that right now, but I am going to send myself a copy of it because I'm going to be sharing it on Instagram. I need to add it to my phone. So I will send it there, and then I will also download it to my computer, and I'm going to choose a high quality PNG. Then you'll see I got the opportunity there to email and share it again. So what I'll do is I'll open this, I'll go to show in folder, and I'll find it in this folder. I'll click cut, and I'll go back to one of the folders where I store my images, and I'll paste it there, and here it is ready to go. And you'll notice too, doing that in 1080 and 1080, look how bright and vibrant that is. So it's, again, vitally important that you take the extra time to make your images look good, because they do make a rockin' impression on people. So if you got some value from this video today, go ahead and share it with your friends. Click the subscribe button. Thank you. We'll see you in the next video. God bless you. Bye for now.